Hey guys, Tyler here. A lot of you guys have been enjoying the custom challenges content I've been putting on this channel. So I've decided to take the time to compile a list of what I think to be the 10 best custom challenges in this game. I decided to rank them off of creativity and how fun they were in general, and they're overall just fantastic to play. I would highly recommend you try any of these out. If you want to try them without being spoiled, the links to all the codes will be in the comments section, as well as a link to the individual videos in which they're played in if you want to see them more in depth. And obviously throughout this video I will be spoiling each of the challenges, so if you do want to be spoiler free, be sure to check out those codes. Let's get right into it. Alright, coming in at number 10 is Primary Challenged. A very hard challenge where you have to beat round 90 with $90,000 on basically chimps mode. You're restricted to one of every primary tower and one of a village. And then you have to deal with insanely fast DDTs, stronger DDTs, and insanely fast, strong ceramic health balloons. So basically all the stats are pumped up, you can't sell your towers, and you have very limited ways to deal with these balloons. So the DDTs are probably the hardest part, even though you can lose to any part of this round, really. The primary expertise village is too slow to catch everything. You'll die to normal balloons. You cannot use the balloon crunch to get all the DDTs because it attacks too slow. Same with the super glue. And even the fast attacking icicle and pale cannot catch all of the DDTs that come out. So these are just way too fast to DDTs. You have to find some really extreme ways to deal with this. So the solution I found involved using a combination of the Moab Eliminator and the Absolute Zero Ice Tower ability. You're also going to probably need an Overdrive Tax Sheeter and a Glue Hose Glue Gunner, all under the scope of an MIB Village in order to beat this. Now the interesting part of the challenges comes from the insane difficulty, from the positioning of these towers that's important. Figuring out which towers you need to use is very difficult. And on top of that, you need quality ability timing and quality reaction time to pull this off. Everything needs to be perfect, making this challenge very tough and overall very interesting to figure out. Good challenge. Coming in at number 9, we have Ice and Ace. You have to play Chimps mode with only Ice and Ace. Probably a simple challenge idea, and actually probably one of the easier challenges on this list. However, it ends up being a lot of fun in figuring out how to exactly start out with the Ice and Ace combo. They're towers that you wouldn't really think would get past the early game that easily, just because of the way they attack and how annoying fast balloons can be against both these towers actually. But there is actually a pretty simple way to work it out, and then you have a lot of freedom in late game to figure out exactly how to beat everything. Usually some sort of ground zero spam works out, but you can't do too many, otherwise you might lose to the BAD. So using these towers in combination can be extremely helpful and just a lot of fun. Coming in at number 8, we have Am Quincy, a rounds 5 through 78 challenge on alternate balloons rounds. A game mode that features a lot of rounds with extra camera balloons and general harder rounds. Your only convenient camo detection is Quincy or Glue Storm, two pretty underused towers at the time. Now you do start out with $4,200, however, that becomes nothing when you realize that the only way to actually beat the first round is to buy Quincy and upgrade him until he has camo detection, leaving you with $0. Now after the Quincy buff you would have something like $200 something, but it's still barely anything, and it still makes all the rounds pretty difficult. There's some very tough camo rounds in there, like 42 and 51, that require quality Quincy targeting, ability timing, positioning, all that. It's very important to buff your Quincy with Alchemist in order to get through these rounds. It's very important to use Glue Gunner abilities like the Glue Storm to get through certain rounds. Using all these together makes it actually a pretty bearable challenge. The rounds aren't too hard, but they're actually a lot of fun just getting it to work with these relatively underused towers. Very fun, would highly recommend checking out. At number 7, we have a challenge that wasn't given any particular name. However, it's subs and farms only on Frozen Over Half Cash mode. Now, the real kicker here is not only the faster balloons and stronger Moabs, but the fact that you start on round 24 with very little cash. You have hardly any cash to start off with, and you get half cash, meaning that every single round from 24 onwards is very tight. you are just barely defending almost half the time, having to make sure you buy the exact correct submarine upgrades to get yourself through it, because you sure won't have time to farm, at least until the later rounds, because it goes up until round 63, which is, as we all know, to be the terrifying ceramic cluster round. And the fact is, you also have to use farms, not just for getting money, but for allowing your subs to attack across the screen. That's right, you have to use your farm's range for advanced intel subs in order to beat certain rounds of this challenge. And on top of that, you probably have to do some really wonky stuff to get through the rounds anyways. You have to buy some cross paths of subs that you would probably never buy anyways. Like, you have to buy the camo detecting sub that also can unsubmerge to pop leads, and you have to constantly go between submerged and unsubmerged to beat certain rounds, just to find the last bit of damage to be able to get through it. And with all that combined, and with the micromanagement you need of these towers, and with just the scope of the challenge being perfectly planned out and fun all the way through, this definitely deserves its spot on its list right here. At number 6, we've got the best pirate I've ever seen. Logs half cash for rounds 15 to 40 with one boat. That is all you get. You get one boat that you cannot sell. So you're literally stuck with a single boat for basically the entirety of easy mode with basically no starting cash, and the only thing that makes it a little bit easier for you is the fact that the Moab is weaker. Oh, did I mention you only have one life? So you literally have to perfectly micro this boat through 25, 26 rounds of pain. It starts on round 15, you know, that wave with all the pink balloons and all the yellow balloons, that's generally hard. Yeah, you only get an unupgraded boat to beat that. Now granted, it's the easiest map in the game, but you have to have perfect boat placement, perfect boat micro. You have to constantly swap between the different targetings to get the boat to aim exactly where you want, and you have to rely on the boat's forward and rear facing cannons. Both of those must be taken fully advantage of to no lives lost these rounds. And the game doesn't even get easier once you start getting upgrades. But you have to remember, you cannot sell, so you can't get a destroyer to make rounds easy. You have to get the bottom path for camera detection and the middle path for lead detection, which means it's not the best DPS overall. So that means you continuously have to micro with this guy through all the hard rounds, through even the Moab. It still ends up being a lot of fun because it's extremely rewarding beating all of these balloons with literally just a single boat that you wouldn't expect to do it. Very fun challenge. At number 5, we have an oldie but a goodie, the Micro Challenge. You have to beat rounds 90 through 100 with only one tower at a time. The Moabs are insanely strong, so strong that no single tower will actually brute force beat them. So the only way to actually beat the blimps that come out in these rounds is by selling and rebuying the Pirate Lord boat ability. The balloons are slow enough that you can micro fast enough to be able to save your life. There's also the Absolute Zero ice ability that is active right when you buy it alongside the Pirate Lord, and that slows down all blimps on screen, which can be extremely helpful. And using those two combined is a fantastic way to improve your micro, to just improve your general reflexes. And then even if you don't have the ability to pull all that off, you can use the Druid's Superstorm to blow back balloons in your favor. That gives you more time to do boat abilities. So all that is extremely important to winning and just a lot of fun to do. Great way to get better at micro. It may be daunting to some at first if you don't have fast hands, but it's doable regardless of your skill. Overall, a very fun, a very worthwhile challenge. Coming in at number 4 is another challenge Uncracked, where you have to beat 2 regular ZOMGs with $30,200. Sounds pretty reasonable until we consider the tower loadout we have. We have 3 glue gunners, 1 sniper, 1 village, and Ben. Now here's where things get a little bit wonky. These stats have been adjusted around, so it's literally impossible to beat ceramic balloons with this setup. It's just not possible. Primary expertise doesn't catch everything. You can't afford Bloon Solver, and there's no sniper upgrade that provides enough DPS to deal with the ceramics. So the only way to win is by getting level 7 Ben's Trojan to Trojan every single one of these 32 Moabs. So this requires a careful micromanagement of your towers remaining, especially the sniper and glue gunners, to isolate enough Moabs so your Ben can Trojan all of them, so you can pop the Moabs without ceramics coming out. Now the one saving grace to make this potentially easier is that the blimps are pretty weak. So you can really only afford like a second tier top path sniper. Yeah, I mean, that's enough firepower to beat the ZOMG and all that. But you have to be careful, because you don't want to pop the stuff too fast. Otherwise, the blimps will run through your defense, or even worse, the ceramics will run through your defense. You have to pop the ZOMG at exactly the right speed, using either selling or buying the sniper, buying different sniper upgrades, or changing up the targeting to be able to make this work. It definitely is possible, and it's a lot of fun to figure out, but it is definitely a challenge and way harder than it looks. Coming in at number 3 is one of the most creative and hardest challenges I've ever seen. Created by Josh, you have about $52,000 to beat rounds 92 and 93 on Cubism. The catch: the Moabs are literally maximum HP. It's like 20 or 40 times the normal health, which is something insane. Honestly, that's a lot of health. And then you only have a very limited amount of towers to beat this. You have 2 boats, 2 helipods, and 1 alchemist. Now, to make things a little bit easier, these ceramics are minimum HP and minimum speed, so the balloons are easy, but that doesn't matter because the Moabs are max HP. The Moabs are a little bit slower themselves, but nothing to give you like infinite time where you can just buy a Pirate Lord and sell literally everything. You have to use all of the towers given to you in a very precise manner. The gimmick that's used to beat this challenge is actually a cool little discovery. If a Moab with unstable concoction on it is sunk by any pirate ship, whether it be 4th or 5th tier Pirate Lord, it explodes. It explodes all around it. And you can use this to your advantage to have the ZOMGs be pulled and have those do insane damage to all the Moabs and other ZOMGs around it, sometimes creating an insane chain reaction to destroy all the blimps in one area. Now, once you figure that out, it's still not home free. It's not even close. So you still have to figure out how to get enough money to afford all of the defense that you need to beat round 93. Now, all of the defense includes the unstable concoction, the Pirate Lord, a 2nd, 4th tier pirate ship, and then 2 camo Moab shoves. Now, there's this catch about the Pirate Lord in that it gives extra cash for every single Moab that's sunk, meaning that you're going to want to isolate as many Moabs as possible to be pulled by this Pirate Lord. You have to make it so that guy contributes as much as possible so you can get your cash flow as high as possible. And after buying them, you have to ensure that the round 92 goes on a little bit longer, just so your abilities can come active, just so you can get yourself fully ready for everything that round 93 will have to offer, because round 93 can be rough if you're not prepared. Actually, literally impossible. Very cool challenge, very hard. It was interesting to see ISAP go through this whole process of figuring it out. In second place, we have a Striker Jones boat challenge created for the 4 Circles map. This is probably one of the most convoluted challenges I've ever seen. It's extremely fun and very doable, but I have absolutely no idea how this guy came up with it. So it's a round 58 only challenge, and you start with 2,700 lives. That's a lot of lives. You'll start with about $38,000 cash, meaning you can afford yourself a Pirate Lord. So when the balloons come in, they're fast. They're fast and they're strong. The only way to beat the Moabs is sinking them via Pirate Lord abilities, which is to be expected since you can get a single boat. But the ceramics are also fast and tough as well. So you might be thinking, all right, let's just go through the round. Let's take care of all the blimps. And oh, they're actually too fast. Okay, the Moabs are too fast. You can't just buy a 4th tier boat and have that beat everything. And a 5th tier boat isn't enough. It turns out that only beats some of the Moabs. It's not going to beat all of them because, you know, they're so spaced out too. So you have to buy 3rd tier Striker Jones and use his ability to stun the Moabs in place to allow you to get to your pirate abilities up. All right, so you go through all that. You mic your Striker Jones. You have, you know, sell and rebuy boats so you can get that going. And you sink all the Moabs. Turns out that's still not enough. Even if you sink all of the Moabs, you need to still puncture the layer of 1 ceramic, just 1, and that will give you enough lives to survive. Now that is very hard because the ceramics are so fast. So the only way to do this usually involves using the Striker Jones ability to stun a Moab and stun a ceramic in collateral to have a destroyer ship destroy the ceramic and have you move on. At least that's how I did it. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. Then you need to have perfect micro of Pirate Lord abilities, Striker Jones abilities to get through all the rest of the rounds. Honestly, my explanation doesn't even do it justice. You have to be very precise because even the smallest mistake can cost you, because there's been some really close fails of this that I had and ISAB have, with the abilities being a sliver away from being activated. Very fun challenge to do, very creative, and would highly recommend that everyone give this challenge a try. And for the #1, in my opinion, best custom challenge created of all time, we have Wait. That's illegal. On 4 circles, you have to beat rounds 59 and 60 with $48,000. Now, as you would expect for that amount of money for these kind of rounds, the balloons are faster, the Moabs are faster, the Moabs are stronger. So you have to go through all these super tough, super fast ceramics, only to come face to face with this super strong, super fast BFB. Now, it's not like lightning fast, it's not blink and you miss it, but it's faster than most towers can handle. And we don't have most towers here. We have 1 ice tower, 1 heli pilot, 1 alchemist. So if you get some ice tower to deal with ceramics, you lose to camel leads. If you get an Apache, you're not going to beat the strong and fast ceramics. If you get some sort of downdraft sort of heli to keep you alive for a while, you still lose the camel leads. If you get the 5th tier special poperations heli pilot with the marine, you can barely beat 59, but you don't even come close to 60. If you get a balloon master alchemist, you would be able to beat the BFB on 60, but you definitely cannot get past either the ceramics or the camel leads on 59. And oh, did I mention there's no selling? So you can't just use one of these towers, sell it to get your money back, and then buy another. You are stuck with what you have. Or are you? So there's actually is one way to sell in either challenges that restrict selling or chimps mode. So there's this cool feature where you can take an ice tower, upgrade it to Arctic Wind, and if it's nearby water, it will actually freeze the water, enabling you to place towers on it. So you do just that. You get an Arctic Wind, you place it by the water, and you place a heli pilot on the water. You get the Marine, because I did mention the Marine guy can in fact beat round 59. You plop him down, he does pretty good. It's still a bit of a challenge. You have to be sure you're doing a good job with the blowback of the heli pilots otherwise to keep you alive in the meantime, just to stall for the Marine's ability to come up. And then that does beat camel leads too, which is nice. And it's also helpful to have the Arctic Wind maybe stun some ceramics as well, just to buy some more time. So with all that considered, congratulations, you've beaten 59. You should also definitely use that heli pilot money ability you've gotten. Now here's where the catch comes in. You take your heli pilot's support Chinook ability, you move the ice tower to another place, and the second you do that, it sells both towers. Because think about it, right? You're using the tower that's freezing the water, you're picking that up, unfreezing the water, getting rid of the helipad, which destroys both towers, and you get your money back. Now with your money, you can afford yourself a Balloon Master Alchemist, take down the BFB with barely enough money, and celebrate a victory. What a challenge. This actually blew my mind once I figured out how to do it. Easily the most creative challenge I've ever seen, and probably the most fun I've had beating a challenge in this game. And there you have it, the best 10 custom challenges in the game. All these were insanely fun, insanely interesting, even more so, I think, than any Bloons TD 5 special mission, which makes the custom challenge editor a pretty good replacement for special missions, don't you think? A lot of fun with these. If there's any that you think I missed or would reorder, let me know in the comments. I would love to play some more of your fun challenges, so if you have a challenge you suggested that wasn't on this list, odds are I haven't played it. I would love to play it on stream, so let me know. I'll definitely check it out if given the opportunity. And with that being said, thanks to all you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.